Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. This is the Paper Talk / Gazette / quotes from the match / whatever you want to call it. Just make sure you are getting involved in the chat and hitting that like, share and subscribe button. I'm going to focus and talk about the quotes following Manchester United's disappointing 1-0 draw with Burnley and a lot of the chat and talk on social media about some of the decisions we saw. United dropping points against the club right near the bottom of the table where, realistically, we should be beating Burnley. We should certainly be beating Burnley when we take the lead. And it was another frustrating afternoon for Erik Ten Hag, Manchester United side. In terms of the penalty, I don't think you can have too many complaints. Andre Onana, more or less clattering in someone, punching someone, whatever you want to call it. Most people on social media aren't annoyed at what Onana did, although some people are, to be fair. There's a lot of people questioning Casemiro and his header and all the rest of it, and should he have done a little bit better? I mean, it just wasn't good enough, really, was it, from a Manchester United point of view? There's also the other penalty incident as well, where Bruno crossed the ball and it's handballed by the Burnley player. Why wasn't that given as a penalty when we saw a very, very similar incident at Wembley against Coventry, where Aaron Wan-Bissaka's handball being given? It does seem like there is a lack of consistency, and that's a frustrating thing. You can think Manchester United weren't good enough against Burnley. I don't think we were. But you can also think that we should have had a penalty. Those two things can both be right. And it is annoying that, yes, we're not performing at the levels we should be, but also not getting some of the decisions we should be. Get involved in the chat and the comments and let me know what you thought about the two penalty incidents. The penalty that was given for Burnley and the penalty that wasn't given for Manchester United. I've got some quotes from Erik Ten Hag. I mean, he's under pressure. I think the one sort of expectation we can have is that it'll be the manager for the FA Cup final. It might be wrong, but I do expect him to be in the dugout at Wembley for the FA Cup final. Whether he'll be the manager next season is open to debate, and there's a lot of people who don't think he should be. There's some that do. We were discussing it on the post-match review, myself and Joe Smith. A lot of mixed opinions there. A lot of people saying, you know what, they're done with Erik Ten Hag, enough is enough. Some saying, look, I'm sick of this managerial merry-go-round. Some people scared of Gareth Southgate. That's not a sentence you hear very often, but I think the idea that Gareth Southgate could end up taking over at Manchester United has actually scared people, some people anyway, into supporting Erik Ten Hag. Now, you might be one of those people, you might not be. I don't think Gareth Southgate is the obvious candidate. There's other names being mentioned as well. There's quite a few that have been sort of thrown into the hat. The hats thrown into the ring. I don't know how many of them, though, are realistic targets. The same names we keep hearing are the likes of Graham Potter, Roberto De Zerbi. Who else is in there? Obviously, Southgate is one of them. I don't know how sort of serious that is. Thomas Tuchel is another name we've heard that's been mentioned a few times. Nagelsmann, if I get my words out, was being mentioned, but not anymore. He signed a deal, I think, with the German Federation to stay there until 2026. So it looks like he's not on the cards. But there's always sort of new ones who are popping up. And let's not forget, Liverpool went a little bit outside the box because everyone thought that Ruben Amorim was going to take over there, and now they've gone for Arne Slot, of course. So you just don't know. You don't know what's going to happen at Manchester United. Let's talk about some of the quotes from yesterday's game. See, Erik Ten Hag says, "We put ourselves in a winning position by playing some good football, creating loads of chances, and then to give it away in the end in the final minutes is so unnecessary." It's weird with Erik Ten Hag because he kind of tends to put a positive spin on things. He'll talk about the positives to the game, creating chances, we played well, all the rest of it, which, whilst I understand it, sometimes it does get a little bit annoying because you're looking at a performance and a result in particular that isn't good enough. Then when you hear the manager sort of focusing on the positives, it can get a little bit annoying, but there's more to come. So it's very frustrating. It shouldn't happen. You put yourself in difficult positions over many phases of the game. We did very good, so at the end we have to take the 3 points and the clean sheet. We gave it away again at the end. I mean, he's right, and it's a trait at Manchester United. How many leads have we let drop? Not just this season, but particular over the last few weeks. Post-Liverpool game, we've let leads slip against Brentford, against Chelsea, where we were winning, going into the 96th minute or whatever it was, and we ended up losing the game. Against Liverpool, at Old Trafford, of course, we were winning there, and against Burnley as well. These are games and teams you should be putting it, seeing out. Don't forget as well, the one I've almost ignored, the Coventry game, 3-0 up. 3-0 up with 20 minutes to go, and we have to rely on a very, 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 very close VAR call and penalties to get past Coventry. I mean, things have got to change. They've got to change quickly for Erik Ten Hag if we've got any chance whatsoever of beating Manchester City in the FA Cup final. He goes on to say, strong start to the game, loads of chances, then we lost control in second part of first half. Burnley came back in the game and had some good chances. Second half was all ours, and we were in a winning position, and we gave the game away at the end. I don't think it was all ours. I don't think it was solely Manchester United. I thought Burnley came into it in that second half, and I thought they had some good opportunities, and they had what I wouldn't call clear-cut chances. I call them more sort of opportunities where they were attacking. It was 3 against 3 or 2 against 2, and their attacker made the bad decision, made the wrong choice. There was a couple of times where the lad who was going through could have played it out to Burnley's left flank. They would have been in, and he didn't. He either ran into trouble or he gave it to the right winger and he lost it. So I don't quite buy into the idea it was all United. Yes, we had enough chances. I think Bruno Fernandes, by the way, created 9 chances again. I think that's the 3rd game in succession he's done that. He keeps creating these chances. We're just not putting them away. He says, we are not lucky at the refereeing in recent weeks. We've conceded so many penalties. This one is justified, so he agrees it's a penalty. I think it is. But the other ones, if you look at Wan-Bissaka in the final at the penalty, obviously semi-final, what is this? Where is the consistency? Again, you do look, there's been a lack of consistency. There's been a lack of consistency in Manchester United all season when it comes to penalties. You go back to the Romero one, Spurs. Blatant handball against Garnacho's shot. Doesn't get given. A few weeks later, same scenario at the Emirates. He's got even less time to think at the Emirates, and he's given a penalty. It doesn't make any sense. There's a severe lack of consistency, and that is the annoying thing. I can stomach Manchester United losing football matches or dropping points. I can stomach decisions going against us, and I know this sounds a bit too big, coming on here moaning about decisions when we've dropped points onto Burnley. But let's be honest, some of these decisions are baffling. It goes on to say, we have to look in the mirror. We made a mistake, but we'll take responsibility, and they should understand what it means for a team and for a manager. I think that's pretty fair. Also, speaking about Europa League qualification, he says, this is the facts. It's not easy to get 4th when you are so far behind. We needed to win. The past few weeks, we've got in winning positions and given it away. The gap is too big in this phase of the season. I mean, he's right. It is. It ain't happening, is it, in terms of the Champions League? Now even the Europa League is looking debatable, isn't it? It might end up in the Europa Conference, which would be an absolute disaster. I think that can still happen, can't it? Forgive me if I'm mistaken, but I think there's every chance we could end up in the Europa Conference. It goes on to say, every team gives up opportunities, but when it is up to us, it is weird. We create loads of chances. We are one of the most dynamic and entertaining teams in the league at this moment. The games are entertaining, I think, for a neutral. If you want to see some goals, and yeah, you've probably seen a lot of goals watching Manchester United play. I mean, there was 7 at Stamford Bridge. There was, how many at the FA Cup semi-final? There's always goals. There was 6 in the Sheffield United game. Trouble is, a lot of them are going in the back of the net against Manchester United. That's the issue I've got as a United fan. I don't want to be the most entertaining team. I want to be the most successful. And I think we're not. I think they're only entertaining because defensively we're all over the gaff half the time, keep giving away penalties and conceding goals. And attack-wise we score goals. That's not what I want to see. That's not the right kind of entertaining. I'd rather be the entertaining we're under Alex Ferguson, where we're battering teams and winning every week. Yeah, I mean, he spoke about the penalty, the one that was not awarded for Wolves at the beginning of the season. 09 had come out, and he said, I can see that is a penalty, but in the other box I have seen a minimum of 3 penalty. The referee is really inconsistent. If you take the penalty last week, why wasn't today? There's a minimum of 1 penalty against Garnacho. Yeah, sort of reiterating what I said there earlier. A little bit of inconsistency from referees, inconsistency from Manchester United, bit of a meltdown going on with certain players on social media. Seems a lot of people having a dig at Rasmus Højlund, a lot of people questioning Casemiro. That's nothing new. Some people questioning Andre Onana. We've been here before, haven't we? Players are always going to get stick after a disappointing result. The hopeful thing is that we sort of rally, we go again, we get our act together, and hopefully we can salvage something from this season. The one shining light at the end of the season, hopefully is a shining light. We've still got the opportunity of silverware. It's going to be very, very difficult, and it's going to be almost impossible if we perform against Manchester City like we did against Burnley. I'm going to leave it there. Make sure you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to be back outside Old Trafford tomorrow. I'm Jay Motty. This has been a post-match look at the Erik Hag Quotes. Thanks for looking. Thanks for watching.